Well, grab your drink, get ready. It is, well, look, it's past 5 o'clock. We've gone cruising into the evening. It is time for the Genius Zone here on Edge Radio Australia. Our resident genius, okay? The grand poobah of geniuses here. I just want to see you in that funny hat from the Flintstones.
Oh, absolutely.
Am I showing my age or what?
Betty Rabble?
Oh, Betty rocked. I was a Betty fan,
Betty
not going to lie.
Yeah.
But before this takes a terrible tangent that, it could go anywhere. No, let's jump into the show. Of course, it's Genius Zone and our lovely genius, Terri. It is fantastic to see you. I will not shoot the messenger. Boom, boom.
Well, I love that pun. My kids used to reckon I was like Marge Simpson, especially when the house, I shouldn't say this to you because it might, you might take it a bit personally, but when the house burnt down, she was still cleaning the bench tops.
Yeah.
And,
I get that. I won't take that personally. I find that rather amusing, so all good.
Yeah. So, anyway, so it's Marge. So I feel like I've been promoted. Thank you so much.
No worries. And it's not blue, so Okay.
Well, good thing about that. The Genius Zone, I love the way you call me the genius because absolutely that is so far from the truth, Aaron, because I have to say that can I talk a little bit about how it was born and what it's all about?
Have the floor.
Let's do
out.
this. Okay. So, I found that, how people have to have a niche, like you're supposed to have a niche.
Yeah,
like, I don't know about
agree.
the radio station. Maybe it attracts people that are really wanting a voice.
Yep.
And they have, they probably had some kind of a pain.
Yeah.
Like yourself and many of the founders of the company, where that pain has turned into their purpose.
Yeah.
So being that it goes from pain to purpose, what happens is with the Genius Zone, what I find is that our very essence of where we have struggled in our life and what has happened to us. So one of the biggest things that I do when I'm bringing on coach healers and leaders onto the show is there's one prerequisite and one prerequisite only.
Okay, what's that one?
And that is that they are doing their service out of a mission. So,
it makes such a difference. It really does. Yeah.
So it's not like a BS, this is a good idea. Like, why don't we just get online and make some money? No. That's not
There's a lot
about.
easier ways to make a living.
I'm sure there is, and you know that, right? And I think people get slammed in the face a lot about that one. But it really, when I was studying, my niche and my dream client, I said to myself, well, how the heck do I work this out? I have dealt with tradies, people, community workers, people that run all sorts of different communities, teachers, some psychologists, musicians, jailbirds, people, ex-convicts, people that made their way out of jail and their mother decided to bring them straight in and, see me on the same day.
Wow.
So how do you define your niche? Because I'm not a jailbird, right? Or at least not in this life.
I think your niche is you actually want to, literally, your niche is you want to help people.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
I think it's that simple. And I think you and I have got the same niche. We just go about it in a very different way.
Yeah.
And that's not a bad thing because everybody's got their currency, I guess. Everybody's got their own style.
I like that.
And what would suit somebody in my life or suit me for that matter doesn't suit you, so you've got to find the person who fits with you.
That's it. And this is what I say, there is no competition whatsoever because you have your own fingerprint, you have your own blueprint, and there's only one you. So when I was analysing, being in clinic for something like 12 years and then hitting the online space and going from not rags to riches, but riches to rags. And, because suddenly,
I know that feeling.
Suddenly I kind of got hit between the eyes with, was I being conceited or a little bit, like I
maybe
needed to
a bit
be
overconfident, a bit
cocky, and maybe too overconfident in myself because, reeling in people, like being a clinical hypnotherapist, people generally get the gist that we'll go there, we'll change a habit, we'll get rid of a pattern that we're dealing with. So it's a bit of a no-brainer in that sense. However, you go into the online space where it's a sea of, I won't say sharks, but I just did. It's a sea of so many coaches, so many people out there.
With different intentions.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
You've got to define who you are to your very essence, because your dream client, like your dream client, the people that listen to you on radio, and you'll get this when I say it, they are you. They are actually a version of you.
You poor things. Make better choices.
Oh, my goodness. But they are a version of yourself before you've, had a little breakthrough. And, we all need breakthroughs. So when I was analyzing my clientele and my niche, it wasn't about the trauma. It wasn't, because everybody's got trauma.
We've all got it, yeah.
It wasn't about their addiction.
Okay.
It wasn't about what they did. People, one thing you've got to learn to do is you've got to be able to see people for their soul, not for what they do.
Look, jot that down. See people for their soul.
Yeah.
It's important. It really is. Because, we live in a world where people are given accolades rather because of what they own, or what they do, it's superficial and it's fake.
Yeah.
Right? And don't get me wrong, like some of those things are nice to have and I'm not going to carry on it. But I don't know. The people who have stuck with me in my life and the people I care about, it's about the substance of their soul, not what they bring to my life, nothing, on a superficial level, right?
Absolutely. It's like, if you've got someone you love, especially if it's a family member or someone that it's a non-negotiable, there's nothing that can possibly take you away from the love that you have for these people. I would say a child,
no question.
they might do bad stuff. They might do really bad stuff, but you don't stop loving them.
No.
So you continue loving them. And my question is, well, why can't I do that with the rest of the world? So because everybody makes mistakes. And your kids, I shouldn't put this in a box, but 9 times out of 10, I reckon parents will forgive their children, and no matter what they do, unlikely that they'll just ditch them. Although it does happen. I can't generalize on that too much. But that unconditional love. And when we look at people from the place that when they came to see me, all sorts of things have happened in their life. I mean, I've seen the worst of the worst of the worst,
right.
And I think this is a really big piece of it, not to judge. So when you are looking at a person and listening to them, and you don't judge them for what they've done, where they've been, because they are not what they have done. They are who they are, and that's where it comes down to the soul. So when I navigated this and I realized, hey, hang on a minute, I've dealt with people across so many walks of life. And it's not about their trauma, because everybody's a trauma coach out there. I shouldn't say that. That was another generalization. But, there's so many trauma coaches out there. There's so many stress coaches, all that sort of jazz. You're
telling the truth. You're right. There are so many out there. Yeah.
But it wasn't about their defect or their patterns or what they'd done, whether it was, doesn't matter how treacherous it may have been, it was who they became when they transformed themselves.
Now, I think that's massive. I do judge people, okay? Naughty.
We all do.
We all pretend we don't. I judge, right? I judge. But I don't judge people on what they've done. I judge people by the way that they stood up. And the more adversity you've had, and the way that if you've carried yourself well and you've recovered from that, you've built something out of that, and you've turned the negative into positive, they're my people. They're the people I want to be associated with.
Yes.
If you've had a silver spoon in your mouth all your life, I'm sorry, I've got
there's no character in that, is there?
No.
There's no character, there's no strength. It's like being an advocate. And if I may say so, because I've got a lot of experience up my sleeve
just a bit
right now.
Yeah, you're living
and
it.
without boring everyone with the same old, because many people who perhaps are in my community know the backstory. But being this advocate, yes, my human nature comes into play. And that human nature is, oh, God, what are they thinking about me? Oh, gosh, should I keep going? Am I doing the wrong thing? Because when you're an advocate and when you're a voice, most times people are in the way of themselves.
That is, okay, I've heard that saying many times in my life. And I used to just kind of, I just brushed off.
Yeah.
It's one of the most true statements in the world.
Yeah.
Like once I actually spent the time and spent a few seconds even and just let it sink in. It's one of the truest things. Like, okay, that whole, getting in front of and holding yourself back effectively.
Yeah.
Like you're worried about what other people think.
Oh.
Who cares?
It's pathetic.
It really is.
It's pathetic. Hey, get out of the way of yourself, guys, because if you are commissioned to do something in this world, you got to suck it up and remember one thing: it is not about you. It is not about you. It is about the mission and the vision and the purpose, and that's what the Genius Zone is. So it's where people have been in the trenches, where they've been through the absolute, they've done the character building and they've risen up, and here they are, freedom of speech and speaking their truth and saying what they want to say without any regrets. Because I even did have someone in an authority position who came to me the other day, and I said to her quietly, because I kind of connected with her on a strange kind of a level, and I said, I feel so bad that I'm having to speak this way to doctors and authorities and people that are specialists, and that I'm having to make this stand.
I'm sorry, I'm going to cut you short. Counter argument here, okay? A doctor, a specialist or whatever, okay? Guess what they do? They put their pants on one leg at a time, all right?
Loves that
one. But it's true, okay?
And do you imagine everyone doing that? Like when you get nervous, do you just imagine everyone has to put their pants on one leg?
I don't do it when I'm nervous, but because I'm very lucky I don't get nervous very much.
Do you?
Sometimes it does happen, but not often. Very, very, very rare for me. No, if I'm thinking about that, I'm slapping them on the bum on the way through. Yeah, I really am. Yeah. No, I just think that we're all the same, and whether you're the CEO or the janitor, all that sort of thing.
That's true.
And there's so many experiences in my life I could just rattle off, right? But we don't have a reverence for people who sometimes they just don't deserve it. There's a lot of people in the world that don't. Like I've met a lot of people in the media world, okay, who have massive followings and very successful and big bank accounts, and they're crap human beings. Okay,
what's the point?
Yeah, what's the point, right?
What's the point?
But you've been installed there, so you get to know. But then you get people who are everyday people who do really, really good things for you, okay, and really genuinely care. So yeah, I think please don't worship false gods.
Oh, my mum will love that. Just saying.
But celebrities, people like that.
Yeah.
Okay, when you look at those actors, at the moment we see, we're hearing so many actors, okay, and they've got their opinions about this and opinions about that. And you realise, oh, my God, you're thick. Like you listen and think, oh, you are so uninformed, you're thick as twin planks. Because, okay, remember this. When you watch a movie, you're watching somebody has carefully scripted the line. They've written the line. A group of people have put this together. All the words are perfect. If they don't say them perfectly, guess what? They redo them and all that. So you're watching this beautifully refined thing. When you see these people, the actors, when they're just speaking their own mind, you realise, hang on, like they can't give that same sort of level without the big crew behind them and it becoming fake. Do you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, am I making sense?
Yeah, you are absolutely making 100% sense.
So, I just want authentic people, and sometimes you're going to say the wrong thing. Sometimes you're going to screw it up.
But even now, I've got an alibi for that.
Okay,
because if I stuff it up and I say something that I think later on, oh my gosh, I should not have said that.
Yep.
Like this nurse said to me, you know, there would be more regret if you didn't say it. So it's what you don't do that you will hold more regret for than what you do when you make a mistake.
I believe the term is better out than in.
Okay, I like that.
I'm being a smart aleck there.
I like that.
That's about something else completely. But like, you know, I would rather, I get that. I'd rather actually talk about it. I'd rather say it than hold it in, because guess what? If I hold it in, I'm going to beat myself up about it. I'm going to think about it. I'm going to overthink it. I'm going to analyze the hell of it. I'm going to, there's going to be numbers and figures and stuff and all. Right. I'm going to make that as complicated as possible.
Oh, yeah.
Guess what?
What?
Okay. My mama used to say, my mama used to say, but the old thing, and I'm sure, well, I'm absolutely sure that 100 million people have said this. Okay. A problem shared is a problem halved.
Absolutely.
By saying it, by sharing it with somebody else, you can analyze it, you can talk about it, and you get a much better, you're starting from a firmer ground to make the right decision. Yeah. Whereas if you keep it in your head, you just boil it into something that's far bigger.
Well, your head is going to literally explode.
Yeah.
Like, you know, today I had a great experience. In fact, I am hoping to bring these people onto the show sooner than later. But it's here in Perth, and it's where you saturate yourself with the stimulation through your visualization, what you're hearing and what you're feeling. So I literally sat in this massage chair about 5 hours ago. And
You're
I
about
literally
to make me very jealous.
I know. And they said, do you want a hard massage or do you want a soft massage? And I'm like, I want hard. I do not want soft, right? So there I was sitting in this chair with these trendy, I'll put it on my stories later tonight, actually. And you know what? You're literally going into a place and a space of nirvana.
Okay.
So you are in all your sensories. So you're in your sensories. Now, you know, these people who have discovered, founded, and created this space, which I reckon is the best kept secret in Perth, quite frankly.
Sounds like it.
They will have come from their own pain.
Okay.
And I knew this, and I had to dig a little bit deep with the founder.
Okay.
But I got it. At the end, I got it. I'm good at that.
You are good
digging
at this.
for gold.
You've got a bit of a knack for it.
Yeah, and you know, and this is what I mean by the genius zone. There's always a pain behind the mission. So guys, don't hold back. No. Before we get into the questions, don't hold back. You've got one life. Remember, you will feel like this nurse said to me, you will have more regret if you don't say it than if you do.
So agree.
You know?
Hello to Damo there. Thank you for saying hello, mate. Fantastic to have you part of the show. If anyone has any questions or comments, do throw them forward. We would love to see them. Obviously, we go to so many different formats and different little places. It's interesting. It's good to I know, it's just good to touch base, right?
It is. Yeah. It's really good to touch base. And, you know, without going too far over the top, you know, because we're all about the genius zone on this show. So it's about pain to power, wounds to wisdom, story to glory, bringing in your, you know, and if you're not there yet, guys, look at it as if you're going through the biggest challenge of your life. Ask yourself the question, how can I turn this into my greatest glory? Because if you know that you are suffering, and if you think of it like, you know, if you were going into the army or the Air Force or the military or anything, you can't go in there with butterflies, rainbows and butterflies and not expect to get through the trenches. Some do, but they banned that
in the US Army, so it's good.
But you've got to go through the test. You've got to go through the grueling test and make sure that you are, and that's what you've got to look at life as, that it is a great test of life. And you know something on that note, I know that it's hugely in the media, and I know that you've already done a story on this in Edge Radio, so I'll just touch on it just a little bit. But you know, because there's so much crazy mad stuff going on in the world right now, I believe it's really important to understand that there is a higher level of purpose behind everything that we're going through. And when I need to bring myself into kind of a grounded atmosphere, I look at people like Erica Kirk and I go, how much worse could it be than what that poor woman and her children, sorry, I just have to get this off my chest.
No, go.
You know, what they have faced, what they have gone through. But mark my words, you know what? His legacy is going to more than multiply.
Look, obviously, I mean, the most important thing here on that particular case, Charlie Kirk, it's an incredible tragedy that he has passed away. When I say passed away, gee, I'm being kind. He was assassinated.
That's more like
it. And by a disgusting, mentally ill human being. What's even more frightening about it is the reaction of so many mentally ill human beings. It's split the world into us and them.
It really has,
it really has. But maybe
it's a movement, isn't it?
It is.
This has become like the next.
I think we've clicked over to I'm not going to take your shit anymore. Okay. Before we thought you're unwell. You know what? Okay, we'll indulge you a little bit. Yeah. Okay. You want to wear a dress, put a lipstick on. You want to do this? Okay. Oh, you want to pretend you're a furry? Oh, you're a dog. You're a cat. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It'll be okay. And you kind of think,
can I be Wonder Woman?
It's a fate. You can be whatever you want. Right? Boom, boom. Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's it. There's an image.
But, I just need to spin around.
You're very Eartha Kitt. I can get that. The Earth Kitt one. By far the best. Hang on, I said Wonder Woman. Hang on,
what were you thinking? One of Charlie's Angels.
I went straight for
Bewitched or
Catwoman.
Oh, Catwoman. I actually make a really good Catwoman. I did dress up as a Catwoman. I actually look quite good as Catwoman.
Yeah, I can see you as Catwoman. So I missed Wonder Woman altogether. I've got the wrong lasso.
There you go.
But we digress.
Yes,
right? Yeah.
yes.
So anyway, look, of all that negativity, the thing is, you are spot on, right? Okay. We wish that Charlie was not killed, wasn't murdered, or didn't go through that. But the movement and the positivity of this is we will not take this shit any longer.
Yes.
Right? I won't stand for it. Not that I was like particularly.
Ever did?
No.
Yeah.
But I'm firmer about not standing for it.
But
I won't
you
put up with
actually knew on American time, like that happened in the US. I believe it happened in the afternoon in Utah.
Yeah.
And you actually knew about it Frontline News.
Yeah, I was, because I'm a freak and it was the middle of the night and I don't sleep. So I was watching YouTube at the time. It came up as a urgent bit of news. I watched it straight away as
you must have been
news.
shocked.
And it was just as you shot. I saw all the footage. It was horrendous, absolutely horrendous.
Yeah, and I think it's rocked the world of a lot of people.
Yeah.
You know,
it has, and then people I really love and really care about. It's rocked their world.
Yeah,
hugely. And it's interesting how we can be affected so strongly by people we never met. Okay, and that shows so much of the power. We talk about it's a genius zone. We talk about the power of a person and what they can do.
Yeah,
it is just, it blows my mind that somebody, I mean, look, 31 years old, he achieved so much. He achieved, and I don't want to make a competition, but let's be honest, 10,000 times more than most people achieve their entire lives, right?
Exactly. He's an old soul, though, wasn't he?
No doubt about it. But in his death, if you know what, you've got to turn a negative, into a positive. Okay, open it up, right? We've lost a great man. He was murdered. Now his movement and his legacy is much bigger.
Oh, yeah.
Much more powerful.
Oh, yeah.
And I think a lot of very positive things will come from it. I really do. And I think it's a great awakening for so many of us that we're just, we're not going to take it anymore. We're just not.
No. Yeah. But, my absolute observation as far as the genius zone is concerned is the multiplication of what that's going to mean now, because there's so much ammo, there's so much motivation. But you have a look at his wife's face when she's giving that speech. You can see this conviction in her face. And that conviction is going to be her genius zone, and it already is her genius zone.
Very true. Now, I want to duck back, if I may, I saw a question come through, or a comment, probably a question as well, from Damo, and as I say, I thank Damo very much for getting on board.
Hey Damo, how you doing?
Now,
you're a chronic people pleaser.
Yes.
Welcome to the club. Jeepers.
Now, okay, he says, why do I do it, and how can I fix it? I'm a chronic. I also have chronic PTSD, for context. Now, on that front,
okay,
I would say a couple of things. One thing, you're not going to fix anything, Damo, right? And because there's nothing wrong with you.
No, you don't want. There's nothing wrong. That's right. You're perfect.
You're perfect. This is somebody I actually, I have met, I've spent time with, who I know, who I actually care about.
Yeah.
And very different lives in every sort of way.
Yeah.
A massive freaking heart. Like if you were thinking about people that you trust, okay? And Damo and I have met each other a few times, we spent a lot of time, but we haven't spent a lot of time together.
Yeah.
But I know that this is a man with a very good heart and very trustworthy. So
yes.
like you've got to understand, mate, you don't need to fix anything. Screw that word. Well, that's my opinion anyway.
With the, because I love that. I love what Aaron's just said, because, Aaron will give you raw, real, and I believe you are definitely a person that will come in and you'll counsel people if you've got something to say. From where I'm standing, because we don't give advice. So but that's just a professional standpoint. Okay. That's not a personal standpoint. So when you say you're a chronic people pleaser, what I'd like to ask you, Damo, is in what area and in what context and when have you not been? So, yeah.
Okay.
So let me open this up to you a little bit more.
Okay.
If you will probably find a bit like myself, and I just want to go back on this for a sec, because it's about the genius zone and it's about getting out of the freaking way of yourself, right? And that is that I almost could have slipped into that slippery slope of being that people pleaser when I felt myself thinking, I'm just going to peeve a whole lot of people off here again. And I seem to be getting really good at that when it comes to advocation.
People off.
Yeah. Look, and sometimes, but the fact is, what if you save a life, or what if you make a difference?
Exactly.
Because of it. Here. Who cares? Who cares what you think? And I have to remind myself. So, Damo, I want to say the same thing to you, right? Because if you're a chronic people pleaser, I'm just going to put this out there, but obviously this is just a wild guess, but it's also a professional wild guess, and that is that I'm going to put money on it that your people pleasing and your trauma from your PTSD is linked.
I 1,000,000% guarantee it, right? And I can empathise and sympathise on this one. I think that you're spot on. People who have suffered, this is my observation and also my lived experience, is if you've had experienced really true, genuine trauma, if you are a genuinely loving person, right? If you've got you're truly empathetic, right? You never want other people to feel that pain.
Yeah.
Right?
True.
So it becomes a mission in you you overcompensate.
Yes.
Because you become a people pleaser.
A rescuer?
Yeah. Yeah. Because you don't want people to feel that pain.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's why I'm fixated on the term fix.
Yeah.
Because it's not, you don't need to fix anything.
Yeah.
You do need to change, in this is my opinion anyway, right? Okay, you need to change things in your life so that they serve you better.
Yeah.
Right? But don't break great personality traits, because
absolutely
bad people take advantage of it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So I can assure you, Damo, just last words on this, that you can heal your trauma and you can turn your drama into your dharma. And you'll find that when you can, because somewhere along the line, usually with trauma, post-traumatic stress disorder, something has been taken from that person, right?
Yep.
And so that's when the devil jumps in and plays all sorts of tricks. So you have to claim back your power.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Because end of the day, we've got to take responsibility for our own lives. I'm massive on personal responsibility, right? And taking back your power, that is kind of the most truest form, isn't it? Right?
Yeah. Reclaim your power.
Yeah.
You know, don't let anybody, and remember the trauma that you've had and the PTSD, easier said than done.
Yeah.
It's in the past and it can be healed and you can turn it into your genius zone.
Excellent. All right. I hope you got something from that there, Damo, because, I think it's very clear we're saying this from a point of view of two people who care. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, we'll jump to our questions that have come in through the pipe, so to speak. So the questions have come through. I'll just grab Sarah's question, if I may, and bring that or comment. I don't know yet. We'll find out in a moment. Sarah is in London. Lovely to have a Londoner there. Many people feel stuck in their careers or relationships. What's one powerful strategy you guide your clients through that helps them shift their mindset and create lasting change?
Okay, which one? How long is a piece of string? Now, I just want to give a big shout out to my small, humble team who is keeping my business alive at the moment.
Okay.
And they have actually put forward these questions from the community.
Oh, good on you.
And I will say on terms, so basically they've collated these questions.
Yep.
So I would say in this sense, I did a modality earlier on in the week. It was very interesting, but it was kind of a fun thing where we first had to go into identifying what the actual issue is. But can you just bring that up again for me again, Aaron, if you wouldn't mind?
I can do that.
So because there's the stuckness. So look, if everybody that's watching this, they're going to have a stuckness. You're going to have a stuckness. I'm going to have a stuckness. We're all stuck in something.
Yep.
So in this case, Sarah, you're stuck in your career, but you're probably a coach. If correct me if I'm wrong. So the
phrasing seems to appear that they're a coach.
You're identifying that careers and relationships are the big thing for you. So the powerful strategy always comes back to identifying where the initial problem came from and looking at it like, a weed and a root system or a tree and a root system. And if you go back on the timeline, I don't know whether you do timelining, Sarah, but if you do, you can guide your people to go back to the original sin. Now, if they don't know it, because quite often they don't, because it's usually in formative years, 0 to 7, where they cultivated a value, a story, a belief system. Not everybody has this massive big trauma between 0 and 7, but there's definitely that, kind of a indent into their life of what makes them tick, and they start to form their ideas and their beliefs and their values. So when you take them back, you identify what it is and you release it from the root system. And by doing that, and I'm so lazy. I love doing things fast, right? I ain't got no time for like counselling sessions. I'm sorry. I love the counsellors. Bring them on. But for me, it's like, come on, let's get over this already.
Can I get this done?
I like speed coaching.
Yeah, I've got other stuff to do.
I need to get this out quick, and so you can get your person to go back and identify where that problem stems from and really kind of get them to identify it, be with it, and then release it. But well, that's the easy part for a lot of people who know this kind of modality where you're actually releasing, right?
Okay.
The hard part is recoding.
Okay.
Recoding, rewiring. Now, do you know what I mean when I say recoding and rewiring?
I do.
Okay.
Well,
so
in my eyes.
recoding is, you're pulling something out. Let's just say you're angry about something or something's bothering you, okay?
Entirely possible.
And, the fact is that while you're caught up in that space, and I'm not saying that you are, by the way, I'm just giving you as an example, because we didn't have time to talk much before this.
No, it was all go.
So, the fact is that you're not allowing space and room. Speak to yourself, Terri. You're not allowing space and room for other things because you're blocking that space by what is preoccupying your brain and your energetic nervous system.
Agreed.
Yep. So by taking that out and then going, okay, I'll deal with you later. Okay. We'll just suspend you for a sec. And then what would you put in there? What would you put in there? Because it's like, okay.
So it's one in, one out, right?
Can I give you a bit of an example? Let's just say, and I don't know this because as I said, I got here late today and, I was on a phone call with someone very important that we hope is going to become part of Edge Radio. But, when let's just say you've got a bone of contention at the moment.
Yeah.
Let's pretend at least.
Let's go with that.
So
it's a fairly safe bet there.
Okay,
I'll tell you right now, Terri.
It's a safe bet.
I've got a lot of bees in my bonnet.
He's got a lot of bees underneath that bonnet. Is that what the buzzing is all about?
That's right. Exactly.
Okay.
All the noise.
So, let's take the hat off and let the buzzing bees out for a sec. Now, let's just pretend they did escape and off they went into the wild blue yonder. Now, in the meantime, in order to now, because it's not like running away from your problems, because if you try to run away from it, or even if something's annoyed you, if you don't deal with it at the proper root level, then the chances are you haven't dealt with it.
True.
So I would ask you this question, and whether you would share it or not is another point, and that is, what do you need? So what do you require? So, for example, getting back to Sarah's question, when I was dealing with someone this week, we discovered that person, once she gets rid of those limitations, what she needed is safety, security, certainty, the ability to understand that she's safe in order to do that, but
Makes
also
sense.
a little bit of certainty and a confidence and maybe a bit of courage and conviction thrown in there.
There's all of these there.
So I know, I love it. So, just throwing around some words here, once you can, it's almost like a scientific equation. So you're analyzing it from the point of, okay, I've taken out that anger now, and that anger felt like disappointment, really, if I'm going to get right underneath it, or sadness or whatever it is. And what do I need going forward to have the strength to deal with that?
Okay.
So they're the things. So that's the question I would ask you, Sarah. And remember, these are energetic words, so they can be like, I need love, I need confidence, I need courage, I need certainty, whatever it is. I need patience.
So in Sarah's case, so ask your clients, what do you need?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's a bloody good NXS song, by the way, What You Need, but there you go.
Give me what you need, give me what you need.
Best band in the world. Great song.
Okay.
But okay, you know what? It's in simple terms.
Yeah.
Damn, that's bang on. Okay, what do you need? We all need something, right? So, let's just peel back the layers of the onion here, right?
That's right.
What the hell do you need?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, kind of like invent it, create it.
Okay. All right.
Why not?
Shall we go to our next question? Thanks for
it.
that. I appreciate that very much, Sarah. Now, our next question comes from David. Now, David is in New York, man. Very cool.
Gosh, it's been a few days, David. He did his NLP practitioners all the way back in 2017. When I first came on, he is actually I thought you were in New Zealand, actually, if you're the one I'm thinking of.
New York, okay.
But that's New York. But, yeah, he did, if it is you did
unless
your
it's a
NLP.
typo and they've hit the Y instead of the Z.
And Z, who knows. But anyway, go on. Go ahead.
No, my apologies. I was just going to say, read out the point that David has made. And what I was going to say before I read that, though, is I think it's really cool, actually, that other people in similar sort of profession to yourself are asking questions because, okay, no matter what we do for a living, we're all or do in life, we are always learning, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, guess what? ask somebody who does the same thing for a living. Ask them advice on things. I think it's really cool, part of the NLP community that they do that. So many careers don't. So,
do you know who I learn the most from?
Nope.
My clients.
That makes sense. I like that very much. Well, David asks, Terri, you specialize in NLP and hypnosis. How can these tools help someone break free from old patterns like procrastination or self-doubt and step into their true potential?
Okay. So here's the thing, David. If you are the David I'm thinking you are, what you've got to do is look at the very essence of your own personal transformation. So, for example, if someone comes in and they transform their life in a way where they release that pattern, what was that modality? Because the chances are that is the modality that I would say that you've got to practice on other clients. Okay. So generally speaking, can we just have it up again just for a sec?
Absolutely.
So there's a couple of different modalities. So you're talking procrastination and self-doubt. So no, that's all I needed yet. Self-doubt, yep, procrastination. All right. So procrastination and self-doubt are very popular.
Yep.
We're pretty good at doing that.
I could go
pro. Whoa, I'm so good. And, Richard Bandler would look at his clients and go, you're very stylistic at that, aren't you? To make a point that they've got style.
Yeah.
They're doing it in their own style. Now, the swish pattern, which let's speak in layman's terms here, and I'm talking to you if it's the person I'm thinking it is where you are switching from procrastination, and let's put self-doubt and procrastination into the same bucket just for the, to make this easy and quick. So usually, quite often, they can be attached because people procrastinate for a reason.
I think so. I personally, I can see them in the same bucket.
Yeah. So, you don't just procrastinate because, I just want to bugger up my life. I don't want to be successful.
This stuff's too easy. Come on.
I don't want to succeed today. I'm just going to procrastinate. People don't deliberately go out of their way to put obstacles in their own way. The subconscious does it to protect you. So the question is, with procrastination and self-doubt, they're probably going a bit hand in hand. Okay. And so if the person's got a little bit of like that, and I'm a famous one for self-doubt, like that was my second name, but, that doubting Thomas or, Therese or whatever you want to call her or him on the shoulder where it's going, oh, you can't do that, or nah, you're not good enough, or that typical monkey that's there. I don't think you've got it. I feel like you've got a lot of confidence. I don't think this is your gig, to be honest.
But
everyone does.
We've all got
but not as much.
There's no question about it.
Not as much.
No, not as much. I'm
the queen. I was the queen of it. I should not say that, but I was the queen of self-doubt.
Right.
And I doubted everything that I did. And even now I can feel, even in my strength, that it sneaks up on me.
Okay.
So when you procrastinate, like, I don't think I'm going to go and rip that head off that person today. I'll hold back. There's a little bit of self-doubt going in there, or I don't think I'm going to go forward and, show up and perhaps call that person or do that thing or make that connection or close that deal or whatever it is. I won't do it because self-doubt.
Tomorrow, I can always do it tomorrow.
Yeah. So always remember that it's for a very good purpose. So if you can keep that in mind, and if you do know the switch pattern, and remember, if any of you guys are intrigued about anything and you go, oh, I want to know more about that, why not DM me and I can throw a script in your inbox. So the switch pattern, just briefly in about 10 seconds, is where you're putting the negative pattern like procrastination and self-doubt on one side. And then speaking of what you're filling it in with, well, what do you need? Okay, it might be self-discipline. It might be self-certainty, self-assurance, confidence, conviction, whatever that is. You usually put a lot more to build it up because it's like cordial. You want to water down that baby. So what you're doing is you're getting all these powerful, energetic components of, well, what if I did have more certainty? What if I did have more self-discipline? What if I did have more confidence, right? And once you've got about 3, 4, 5 of them going, just go bang. Yeah.
Bang.
Grand slam.
Look at you go. All right. One last question before we call it.
We've got 1 minute.
We've got 1 minute. Yeah, it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
You know what? That's just something a woman never wants to hear. Anyway, all right. Now I'll bring it up on the big screen so we can go with that.
Okay. I didn't hear that.
No, not at all. Hi, Terri. This is Maya from Sydney. Hello, Maya. Lovely to see you up on the screen there. For those of us who are inspired by your work, do you offer any coaching experience or events where we can go deeper and actually learn
my
from
team
you?
are very clever, aren't they?
I think so. They're on to you there. They're on to you.
I reckon this is rigged. Okay, I don't mind admitting it. Okay, I don't mind admitting it. I do have a workshop coming up at the end of this month.
Oh, cool.
And if you want to join, let me know. Jump in my DM box.
Yep.
And we will be showcasing over 3 sessions many modalities, and to be honest with you, I haven't really done a lot of self-marketing on it or talking about it as such as I usually would. I usually really bang on about this stuff, but I thank God for my team. My team are my lifesavers at the moment. They
really are. Yes.
Thank you for filling in the gaps. But at least I do know that if you show up, and I mean, for what it's worth, I think it's about $29, and that's Australian. That's Aussie dollars.
Oh, so in US dollars, that's about $3.20.
I love that. Yeah, not even a cup of tea.
That's right. That's right.
So if it sounds like your cup of tea, jump on board. Let me know, and we'll pop you in for the workshop. And I promise not to disappoint.
Yeah, how good's that? How good is that? Promise not to disappoint. What a terrible line. What a terrible. I was thinking before about like your terrible line about like to me, and I'm going to try and put this the way that I best way I can. To me, self-confidence to me is actually my absolute hatred of failure.
Self-confidence to you is your
hatred of failure.
Hatred. Okay, so you hate the thought of failure.
Yep.
But who doesn't?
I know. I'm not saying unique.
But can I ask you the question, but what's so bad about failure?
Well, I used to think, so most of my life, whether, sporting background, right, if failure was a really negative thing, life has taught me failure is actually a really, really good thing.
It so is.
It's nothing will teach you a lesson. Nothing will clarify anything for you like failure. Success is wonderful, but success doesn't teach you a lot.
You can't succeed without failure.
Yeah.
That's what I believe.
Damn straight.
I absolutely believe that John Maxwell's got it wrapped up in 2 words.
Okay. Fail
forward.
Fail forward. Well, there's certain politicians out there who do that very, very well. Do you have any final thoughts apart from failing forward?
Well, my final thoughts are just value yourself. Bring it back to what's real and what's important for you, and get out of the blooming way of yourself.
Lovely. I love the way you cleaned it up. It was nice. Get out of the blooming way of yourself. Well put.
Try not to swear.
Oh, geez, you're a conscious professional. Hey, thanks for being part of the Genius Zone here on Edge Radio Australia.